In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Debian 12 Bookworm Bare Metal on M1 or M2 Macs. Thanks to Asahi Linux, more Linux distributions are being ported to run natively on Apple Silicon Macs. Now keep in mind that unlike the Fedora Asahi Remix, Debian 12 is not officially supported. It's an experimental project developed by a Maverick engineer. Therefore, I strongly advise trying Debian 12 Bare Metal on a non-production Mac, and backing up any important data is recommended. That being said, let's get started. For demonstration purposes, I will be using my base M1 MacBook Air. However, the process remains the same for any compatible Apple Silicon Mac. Before installing Debian 12, check out this URL for detailed information and device compatibility. To install Debian 12 as a dual boot on an M1 or M2 Mac, you need to reserve at least 30 GB of free space or more and ensure your Mac is running macOS 13.5 or higher. First, open a terminal and enter the following command to view the drive information. Take a screenshot of the internal disk for later reference. Now remember your macOS username. In my case, it's M1 Mac. Then open a browser and visit the provided URL. If you see the instructions here, the Mac needs to boot into recovery. From where you can run a script using the terminal. I tried this method, it's not working for me. So I'm following the Fedora Asahi Remix approach. Simply copy a specified line of code and paste it into the terminal. Now ensure your Mac is connected to a faster internet connection to download Debian 12. You will see the version of the Asahi installer and be prompted to enter the sudo password. Type R to resize the macOS partition. You can shrink the free space from your existing partition by entering the size in percentage. In my case, my Mac has a free space of 160 GB, out of which I will allocate and type 70% for macOS and 30% for Debian Linux. And as you can see, the installer has allocated 75 GB of free space. Type Y to continue. Now press the Enter key to proceed. You will see the allocated free space. Then type F to install Debian into that free space. The installer will give you the options to choose the desktop. For now, select the minimal edition. Choose option 1 to install the CLI version of Debian 12 without any desktop. Confirm the installer to use the allocated free space by typing max. Now name the Debian OS and press enter to start the installation. This process will take around 15 to 30 minutes, so sit back, relax, and grab some drinks. Once the installation is complete, follow the instructions for step number 2 to complete the installation of Debian Linux. Now read these instructions and follow them carefully. Then press the Enter key to shut down your Mac. Wait for at least 30 seconds. Then press and hold the power button until you see a message saying loading startup options. Now this will take you to the One True Boot, which shows all of the bootable volumes that have an operating system. Using the arrow keys or mouse cursor, select Debian Linux and press the Enter key to boot into macOS recovery. Now choose the username and enter the password you used to log in into macOS. Now press Enter to continue. Type the password and set the system into permissive mode. Now authorize the installer by typing the username and password of the macOS administrator to change the boot policies. And voila, now you can see the installation is complete. Press the Enter key to reboot. This will boot your Mac into Debian 12, which is running on bare metal. Now press the Enter key to see the login prompt. If you notice there's no GUI, don't worry, we will fix that in a moment. Now first log in as root. Then type passwd to set the root password. Once it's done, type this command and press enter. It's time to connect to Wi-Fi. To do so, type this command. And look for the SSID and provide your Wi-Fi network name within the double quotes. Then set the Wi-Fi password. And save the changes by pressing Ctrl+O and Ctrl+X to exit. Now type this command to connect to Wi-Fi. Once it's done, you can run the ping command to check the status of the internet connection. Now as you can see, the packets are received. Now type this command and uncomment this line to enable Wi-Fi during the boot. Once it's done, save the changes. It's time to create a new user. To do so, type this command by replacing the appropriate parts with your information. Then set the password for the new user by typing this command. Now once it's done, let's set up the desktop environment. I'm going to install the KDE Plasma Desktop and SDDM Login Manager by running this command. Then type this command to enable the SDDM services. Now go ahead and restart your Mac, and voila, now you can see the GUI desktop. Now as you can see, the internet works out of the box. The first thing to do after installing Debian with GUI is to add the standard user to the sudo-verse list. Open the console, log in as the root user using the command su, and enter the root password you set during the installation. Now open the sudo-verse file by typing this command. Scroll to the end of the file and add a line with your username next to the root user, exactly as shown here. Now save the changes by pressing Ctrl+O and exit by pressing Ctrl+X. Now type exit to return to your user account. You should now be able to use the sudo command. Now to switch between macOS and Debian, first shut down your Mac. Once it completely goes black, press and hold the power button until you see a message saying loading startup options. Just remember, when the Mac is turned off, holding the power button for 10 seconds will take you to the boot menu where you can see both macOS and Debian entries. You can choose Macintosh HD to boot into macOS, and this is the perfect dual boot setup on Apple Silicon Macs. As a bonus part of this video, if you decide to delete Debian 12 from the dual boot, just boot back to Mac OS, then open the terminal and type disk util space list. If you notice, under the internal drive, partitions 3, 4, and 5 are the main volumes of Debian. The first two and last are related to Mac OS, so do not touch them. Now out of 3, look for the Asahi EFI partition. In my case, disk 0S4 is the identifier of the Asahi EFI partition. In your case, it may be different. Just note down the identifier and erase the partition. To do so, type this command and provide a valid partition identifier. Then press the Enter key to erase this volume. Then head over to the disk utility. From the menu bar, choose View and select Show All Devices. Now from the sidebar, choose Apple SSD and click on the partition. Do not touch the Macintosh and the first and last partitions. Now these are the partitions related to Debian. Delete them one by one. Once it's deleted, the free space will be added back to the Mac OS. Then open the Startup Disk Manager and change the boot order. You can choose Macintosh to boot into Mac OS. Now if you reboot your system, it will boot back to Mac OS. And that's pretty much it. This is how you properly install Debian 12 Bookworm on M1 or M2 Mac natively. Check the description for more information. Thanks for watching this video. This has been KSK Royal. I will see you in the next one.